She's built close to 2 decades of a career in HR and is passionate about bringing the best out of people. This week we speak to Lillian Ngala, the founder of the Lillian Ngala Network, as well as the HR director at DTB. This is She Means Business. I am your host, Claire Munde. Hi Lillian.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm all right, Claire.
Welcome to She Means Business.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, you have an almost 2 decades long career in HR and now you're a thought leader as well. I'd like you to give us a little hindsight of what your journey has been like in HR and what really inspired you to move on to starting a network and a foundation.
Interesting, Claire. First and foremost, I want to thank you for visiting me and to the Citizen team. I really appreciate. So, Claire, back to your question. I think for me, HR found me because it came as by default. So I was working for this one person and he had a farm whereby I was more or less the GM doing everything. So at the end of the day, you have to make sure that everybody is working. You have to make sure that accounts are balancing. You are all over, but still making sure that there is efficiency in the organization. So as we worked along with him, he realized that there was something about me whereby I would make people work very easily. There was something that anytime he would give you an assignment, everybody will tend to fulfill. So he told me, by the way, have you ever considered HR? I think it's a course that will really suit you well. By that time, I think I hadn't known much about HR. So I Googled, checked out what HR was all about. And yes, the rest is history.
Awesome. Now, almost 20 years, 19 years going 20 years in HR. You know, they say sometimes, and you've been in the same organization, there's so many thoughts about working in one place, moving to other organizations. And as an HR professional, I'd like to hear your perspectives on that, because there are people who say, you know, you stay in one organization, you understand how it works, you get to know how different departments work, and you get to top leadership where you are right now. Then there are others who say, you know, after a certain number of years, whether it's 3, 5, you need to transition, you need to find out how other places work. So what are your thoughts on how long somebody should be staying in one area, and what are some of the skills one should be gaining in their current place of work?
Wow. So first and foremost, Claire, if you look at my tenure, I've been with DTB for about now, this is the 14th year. Quite a long time. I think that is what you're talking about in terms of how long should one be in one place. So for me, I think it's more of what really triggers you, or what really are you finding that satisfaction, that fulfillment? If you're finding it in one place, then why not? Even doing more than a decade is very allowable. But if you're not fulfilled, maybe from a role perspective, from many other aspects, then by all means, you need to find a place that is quite aligned with your purpose, aligned with your interests and your ambitions and your aspirations. So for me, I think what I've seen is if you're in one place, and you're not just stuck in what you're doing quite many things, then definitely you'll not be bored. And nobody can say that now it's time to leave. Because at the end of the day, you are always keeping up with things that are exciting you. Again, you're looking at initiatives, strategies that you're putting in place. Claire, let me tell you, you'll find that some people, you've done 5 years, 4 years, because we talk of 4 years is a good time to be in a place and move to another place. But in those 5 years, what have you done? If you're doing the same things that you've been doing from year one, then definitely you're not leaving a mark. So for me, what is my key driver, or what is making me to believe that you can be in one place and still be very effective, still be very charged and fired up, is by making sure that this year is not the same as next year. Claire, definitely my 2025 is not the same as 2024, not the same as 2023, because you are always reinventing. That reinvention, that ensuring that there's always something fresh, a fresh initiative that you're coming up with. Trust me, you don't even know how time flies. You don't even know how the 5 years, the 10 years fly by. So what I've seen is you being upbeat, you being on top of what is the latest HR trend in the market. That's how I lead my life. I believe in making the days count, not counting the days. So if you look at, again, the DTB job shadowing, DTB job shadowing program, it is one of a kind. And I think this is something I'm very passionate about. And I want maybe to encourage all HR people out there, let's open up our doors for young graduates to come and have a feel of world of work. As Diamond Trust Bank, what you're doing is you're taking 200 students every year on a yearly basis. I don't think there's an organization in Kenya that has done such, whereby they just go into the universities, partnering with them, telling them, hey, welcome to our world, see how the bank looks like. For the next 2 weeks, you have a buddy, you are partnered, you are paired with someone, whereby you get to see what they're doing. If it's HR, maybe my background is in HR, that person sits with you in that HR department for a whole 2 weeks, just learning what HR is all about. If it's operations, if it's treasury, by doing that, you're exposing that young soul to the world of work, whereby they're able to decide if they're going to pursue their course, they're continuing with the course, or maybe they're making a detour to a different course. So for me, that is impactful. The question, Claire, is not how many years have you done in the organization. The question should be what impact, what mark are you leaving in that organization? So whether you are doing 2 years, you are doing 20 years, the bottom line should be the impact, the influence, the mark that you're leaving in that particular organization and beyond. For me, DTB job shadowing is something that is not just DTB, it's gonna go beyond, because I'm working with different institutions. I'm working with different universities across Kenya, be it Chuka, be it Meru, be it Strathmore, be it USIU. It doesn't matter. For us, again, you are saying for that graduate who is coming from Chuka and the one who is coming from maybe University in Nairobi, it's not their choice to be in different places at the same time. It means maybe they didn't have maybe capacity to be in the other university. So be it private or public, we welcome all of them. Internship program. Again, that's another initiative. Most organizations do have an internship program, but how is it so different? You as a leader, what difference are you making in that internship program? How impactful is it? By doing those kind of initiatives, Claire, you won't be counting the years. You won't be counting the days. You'll be making the years count. You'll be making the days count.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And you've talked about reinvention. If you're making the days count rather than counting the days, how can somebody go about reinventing themselves? So they've been at a workplace for a couple of years and probably they don't feel like they are where they need to be.
Yes.
How can they start reinventing themselves so that they can make that impact that you're talking about?
Claire, for me, and what I've seen work, lots of research. Be a curious person. When you have that curiosity, it will push you, it will open your horizon, it will open your thinking. You'll start seeing what you're lacking from within and how you can actually pair or gap or bridge that gap. So if you're lacking, maybe let's say what you're doing is, I think what you're asking is people just do 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. You're waiting for evening to go home. In the morning, you're waiting to clock in at 9. Such a boring life, Claire. You want to make an impact. So for me, what I've seen work is curiosity. You must be curious as a person. Curiosity is a trait like any other trait. You can learn it. And once you're curious, it will push you to get to know what are people doing out there. And if nobody's doing it, how about me being the first to do it? What's the worst that can happen? Nothing. I'll bring in 200 students. If they come, okay, I'll make sure they're well taken care of. We train them, we pair them up. If it doesn't work, we will reinvent ourselves again. We will stop taking 200, we'll take now 100, or we'll stop the program, do something different. But you have to be curious. What is being done out there? What are people not doing? How do I become part of the solution? Instead of complaining of maybe half-baked graduates who don't even know how to dress up, graduates who don't even have the formal language. If you're complaining about it, what have you done, Claire, at your level? As a leader, what am I doing to bridge that gap whereby you're saying, these graduates are cool, yes, they are sharp, yes, but when they come in, we don't feel that. They don't even know how the basics of office etiquette. 24 hours, maybe they are on their water points discussing and talking and gossiping. How do I do that? How do I manage that? How do I be part of solution? How I can be part of solution is, let me welcome the 200 of them. They come, they learn the basic etiquettes. When they're done, Claire, I leave them to go out to the market. Claire, churning out that big number. If every organization was doing that, by the time they're going out to the market, they are ready for Nation Media, they're ready for Citizen, they're ready for Aga Khan, they're ready for Diamond Trust Bank, they're ready for all employers. They are ready in practice, they are ready in theory.
So that's a good thing. Curiosity is really important. And it reminds me of a different interview which we had done where someone was saying that somebody looks at her and they see she's successful, but she has tried more times. She has failed more times than some people have tried. So you need to keep on trying.
Yes.
The way you're saying that program, if it doesn't work, then you'll move on to something, but you are curious enough to try. So I think it also speaks to being courageous. What's the role of courage in really succeeding?
Actually, I was coming there, Claire. Trust me, you can't succeed without courage. Courage is what will fuel you. Courage fuels you. Courage pushes you to just say, you know what, I can do it. You know what, I'll be the first to do it. It will fly. It will work. If it doesn't work, well and good. We will do it differently. So clear courage is quite important. And as leaders, you are still talking about how to reinvent yourself. Remember that question? How to reinvent yourself so that the 14 years doesn't feel like 14 and you're always fresh and you're always looking forward to I always look forward to go to my bank every single morning. The 14 years won't feel like it because you're courageous enough to continue putting in initiatives, strategies that are always fresh. And by doing that, that can only happen if you're courageous enough to do it. If you're curious enough to know this is not working, this is what people are doing, this is what I need to do in the industry, this is not, or maybe this is what people are doing. So out of that, courage, curiosity, very important. And then clear part of the reinvention and how to continue maybe doing even more than 2 decades in an organization. Clear, another one that comes to mind, content. Clear, you can't thrive without content. Know your space, know your craft, love your craft, know it inside out. To an extent, you become a walking syllabus, a walking encyclopedia. That is where now you talk of reinventing yourself. Because there's something that you carry that you can always just play around with. You're able to just say, okay, Employment Act, this is what it says. This is what we need to do. How do I impact the academia world? Why am I just closed in the DTB setup? How about partnering with the academia world so that by the time these graduates are coming in, they're ready for the market? And not just ready for DTB, but for the job market. Like I said, for me, impact is beyond the organization. Let's start thinking impact that goes beyond citizen. Impact that can actually go beyond RMS.
Yeah, I like that. So that issue of content and personal development, you said it should go beyond where you are right now. And I'd like us to speak a little bit more on that. You know, you're big on personal development, on building your own personal brand and so on and so forth. And I was in a conversation one time, and you were there as well, where Wale Akinyemi, he was talking about, you know, when you talk to Lillian, you may not necessarily know she's even in DTB because her personal brand comes out even stronger. We look at you, we see the thought leadership and things like that. So talk to us about people building their own personal brand and investing in themselves so that when we think of what you do, we're not just thinking about an organization, but you're broader than that. You have more to give.
Excellent. Good question, Claire. I think for me, personal branding is more of you becoming you first. Because at the end of the day, Claire, what we know about you is what we see. It's not what you're thinking, it's what you see, what you're able to contribute, what you're seeing today is your personal brand. Whether good or bad, that's what we know. What you know to yourself, you keep it yourself. So if the world does not know it, then we'll never get to know it. So for me, what has worked is the fact that the courage, you are able to say, yes, I will step up, I will show up, I will do it. And the more you keep doing what you're doing, you become credible. Credibility and personal brand, they go hand in hand. People don't buy people who are not credible. So how do you build credibility? It's by showing up frequently, by being consistent in what you're doing. You can't preach water and take wine. So for me, credibility is quite important. Who are you, Claire? The moment you define that, then you keep at it. I don't say today, I feel like doing this, and then tomorrow you're not doing it. It means then you're not credible. And that's how you start losing your brand. And a brand is just built on consistency. You have to be intentional. You have to, again, I keep telling people, if you're to remove Citizen from you, if you're to remove RMS from you, who is Claire? So leaders, if you're to remove DTB or my foundation or my the network out of me, who am I? So going beyond that, what do you stand for? What are your values? When people think of Claire, what do they think? When they see you walking or talking, what do they see? The values that you stand for. Let the world see your values. And you can't pretend, Claire. People can see through your eyes. People can see through everything, your vocabulary. People can see everything. Be who you are. And if you're not happy with the space that you're in, if you're not happy with the persona that you are right now, all is not lost. You can still become the person that you want. Everything is about intentionality. Okay. Everything is about being deliberate and taking actions.
Yeah. So then let's go to that. So beyond DTB, beyond the Lillian Ngala Foundation, beyond Lillian Ngala Network, who is Lillian? What do you stand for?
Wow. I didn't see that coming, but trust me, Claire, what I've seen is, for me, what I stand for, fairness. Fairness and compassion. And if you look at the kind of things that I do, I think I don't need to speak for myself. It's very hard to beat your own drum. Yes, I think if you look at what I'm doing or everything that I've been doing so far, they all rotate about creating a better world for everyone. Because fairness is about the kind of initiatives that I'm trying to push at the bank, or the kind of initiatives that we put in place. Compassion, the same. If you look at even how I work with the young graduates, nobody's asking for that. No universities has ever approached me for that. For me, it's just creating a world that everybody can thrive. And if young graduates can thrive there, why not? If I can give a young person a chance to work with me, even the fact that they've never been in a corporate sector, why not? For me, it's just being a world that is more compassionate, a world that is more kinder, and more fair. Fairness, again, you'll see it in how I do my widows program, whereby I build back home in my home country. I build for widows, and why I build for them, it's just again for fairness. It's very unfortunate that I get to let's call them, we go to our villas, our mansions, we sleep very well, and then the next neighbor there with a polythene house, a grass-thatched house, and we find it normal. It's not normal, Claire. For me, that's not fairness. So fairness starts from where you are. What are you doing? And yes, back to your question. I think I stand for fairness, compassion. That's it.
I like it. And let's speak about the Lillian Ngala Network, because you said that you're about fairness. You're about, really standing in the gap for those people who may not have that ability. So let's speak about networking. What is this thing called networking? Because people have different definitions about it. Some people call it connecting, networking. What is networking and what is it not? And then we'll discuss how you actually can network right.
Excellent question, Claire. And I think that one I'll tie it back to my values, the compassion bit of it. What I do is just about people, same to the network, which I'm coming to. You'll find that Claire is so good, but she just lacks somebody to connect her to an opportunity. Now that's the compassionate side, where I'm saying, could I just do something to connect people to possibilities and opportunities? Now to your question, Claire, the network. What is networking? Networking, we get it wrong most of the time. We believe networking is exchanging cards. I went to a seminar, have met Claire, we exchange cards. She works in that RMS and she's the media personality, blah, blah. That's enough. That's not enough. Claire doesn't know you. You know Claire, but she doesn't know you. So the fact that you've networked or you've shook hands, you've exchanged cards, that is not networking. You need to go deeper. Networking now requires you to learn the art. Networking is a skill. It's a skill. And I'm coming up with an academy about it, by the way, whereby I just want people to learn how to network, because we get it wrong. The fact that you exchange cards and hi, that's enough. No. You need to go deeper. First, Claire, networking has 4 steps. Step number 1, I need to know you. I need to like you. I need to trust you. Then I need to buy what you're trying to sell, or I need to buy the idea of what you're trying to push across. I hope I didn't lose you.
No.
Networking is in 4 steps. But for us as Kenyans, as just human beings, we want to meet you today, Claire. And step number 1, which is knowing you, liking you, trusting you and all that, we want to combine all that in 1 step. So I go like, hi Claire, how are you? Oh, you work with RMS, nice to meet you. And are you hiring? Everything at one go. Claire, you've lost it.
Yeah.
You've lost it. That is not the way to network. That is not the place find another place. Let's network. Let's connect. Let's build the trust. Let me get to know you. So it's clear. Oh, that's nice. What do you do? Let's end it at that. Could you have another appointment maybe for coffee? You see now, I'm creating curiosity. Then clear after that, let's have another appointment. Let's have another date. Let's do coffee. By doing that clear, and again, you don't even have to meet the person for coffee. With the virtual world, there's emails, there's all that. How do you build trust after knowing you? How you'll build trust by me knowing that you're actually not interested about my title, or you're not interested about what maybe you want. It's not about what you want. It's me knowing that actually you're more interested in me rather than you being interested. I don't know if I lose you.
Yes.
Where we go wrong is I want to do the talking 90%. And then there's only 10%. Claire, I've already switched off. I've already pigeonholed you somewhere. And that's human beings' nature. We may not tell you, but you can see clearly this is somebody who is not about connecting. They're about transaction. They are very transactional. There's no emotional connection. We must connect emotionally by building those steps that I've talked about. So how do you build those steps? Maybe we need another session, Claire, so that I can take people through this and how to do it properly. Because it pains my heart when I see someone, a very young lady, a young man, has great potential, but how they knock off the first instant, you're like, oh my God, I wish I could help. But too late, too little, too late. Yet we can do it differently. People want to know that you're interested about them, who they are, not their titles, not their status, not the cars they're driving. Not at all. And people can pick that. If you're just saying hi to me while you're looking at my shoulders to see who else is the biggest or the big shot in the room to say hi. I want you to connect with me inside my eyes. And as you're connecting, it's about me, you're interested about me, about the person, not my title, not what I can do for you. What I can do for you will come clear by following those steps that I've talked about. The doing will come definitely, because now I'll be able to buy into what you're trying to tell me after I've developed the trust, I've known you. Then you're in a different level. Then also I keep telling people, you need to add value. What is your value? What are you bringing to the table apart from job seeking? Apart from my sister is looking for work at DTB and all that. What else are you bringing to the table apart from those kind of conversations? So that is the thing. People need to also sharpen their values. People need to identify their values. Do you even know what are your values? And Claire, let me tell you, there's no one who doesn't have something great about them. Each and every human being. I'm in this space of human connection and human beings by default, the fact that I'm in HR, and also besides just the person that I am. I've told you my two values. Trust me, we all have something great in us, everyone, including that gate man. Including that everyone, doesn't matter whether you are learned, you are not learned. Everyone, whether your background says something else, it doesn't matter. Whether your surname betrays you, it doesn't matter. Everybody has something they can offer. Identify that clear. Once you know it, sharpen it, nurture it, and that is what you're bringing to the table. As you're networking, that is what becomes your tool.
Yeah, I like that. So you have to know somebody, you have to like them, you have to trust them, and then you can buy into whatever they're saying. But then I want you to speak to those people, like the person who you say they come and I'm looking for a job. Maybe that person is looking at it from, okay, I've just met Lillian today, but who knows if I'll ever meet her again. So I might as well just say what I need today. She might never get to know me to the point that she trusts me and buys into what I'm saying. So what do you say to that person who is like, yes, I have this value to offer, but I may never see Lillian again. So I'm in a Lillian Ngala Network event, and who knows, I won't walk by her next time. So I need to say everything to now.
With all the
It's
information.
now or never.
Trust me, Claire, the fact that you've had a chance to meet that particular leader, to meet that particular person that you've always wanted to meet, maybe CEO, name it, the person that you've met, that you are really interested in knowing them better or getting to have a connection with them. You can't bombard them with information on the spot or on the same day. It doesn't work like that, Claire. Like I've told you, I think it's still just, you will still miss the point. What you do, that opportunity that you've been accorded, the fact that you even shook hands, the fact that they're even able to give you their 2 seconds, have something called elevator pitch. So who is Claire? Oh, hi. Who is Claire? Just tell us one statement about you that can make them develop that interest. And then show them that is about them. And I keep telling people, even the small talk, you can develop the art of knowing how to do the small talk. You don't have, the small talk doesn't have to sound small the way it is small. Because when you say small, people think it's small. It's not small. It's just to crack, it's an icebreaker. But how do you ice break with a CEO? Those are the things that we need to learn as Kenyans, as people who are really progressive, people who are really happy or interested in learning the human connection, the small talk, the elevator pitch. Once you've learned the art of these two, then Claire, let me tell you, it's easier for that person now to tell you, I wouldn't mind meeting in my office. How about Wednesday? Come to my office. Let's have this conversation. Let me get to know about what you're doing during your... when you're doing these shoots, I would love to be part of it. Let me have this conversation. But it's because how you manage that 5 seconds that he gave you, that few minutes that you shared with them. Don't show them, don't get the window and just talk about you. Share with them. Get the small talk. Get to know who they are. Yes, I know he's the CEO of maybe, let's say, DTB, but go further. So, hi, Nasim, nice meeting you. I've always read about you in the media. Today I get to meet you. And I like just small talk actually even allows you, if it's a lady, there's nothing wrong by telling the lady, you like how she puts herself together in terms of how a suit looks like. That's a small talk, but very powerful. It means you're interested, you can see me, you are appreciating who I am. So small, yes, doesn't have to be small, but something very, still speak to the person, but you're relating with them at that level. Don't tell me about job searching when you meet me, please. There are better things we can talk about. Talk to me about us having another conversation. Let me know the things, like I think I've just been recognized as one of the influential women in the country, 50 of us. I think that happened yesterday. So if you're really in sync, or rather you're my follower, those are the things you would have picked by now.
I like that. So really focus on the other person, get to know them a little bit more. And I want us to narrow in a little bit more on that. I'm focusing on it because there's somebody who might be helped by this conversation. So you talked about that elevator pitch as I meet you and I'm just telling you a little bit about myself, not asking about for the job or whatever. So what does a good elevator pitch look like? Because there are also people who say elevator pitches can look salesy, like I'm this person, I do this. So how do you make it natural and you're not trying to push some product or service on somebody, and you're just saying this is what I am, and you'll actually evoke interest in that person wanting to know you better?
Excellent. So Claire, first and foremost, you don't have to sound salesy like you put it. You don't have to sound desperate. Elevator pitch actually should just be something that is talking about you, whereby you can just say, my name is Lillian. Maybe you can mention where you work, and you can say, maybe let's say, I'm passionate about employees development, and that's what I do for the bank. That's my 9 to 5. What about you? Imagine I'm just passionate about employees. So it's you who will ask me, okay, so you're passionate to what level? I'm HR director. You see, my title didn't come first.
Yes.
It's about who I am before my title. Or I can say I build homes for widows. I give them decent homes. Already you can see my building part of it. I'm not saying I'm philanthropic and all that. So let's leave this issue of titles, ranks.
Yeah.
The ranks and the titles will come. That person will be interested about you. Just knowing that you're passionate in developing employees, you're passionate about, creating a compassionate world around people in the organizations. In the organization, trust me, that person will want to know, oh, so what do you do exactly about that? You've already created curiosity. You've already created the desire. So I work for maybe an insurance firm. Maybe you ensure that clients are happy. So you're not saying you're a customer service head or your customer service director. No. Did I sound desperate? No. Actually, I sound so charged. When you say you just ensure that your clients are happy, I would want to know, what about me? You can make me happy as well. This is a good company. I want to come there. So this is my card. How about you calling me so that you can also tell me more about these insurance products that you sell? Did I sound salesy? No. Because it's about me making my clients happy. That's it. And I've already triggered a desire in you. You want to be happy as well, Claire, trust me.
Yes, indeed. I like
so
that.
I'm sure you'll be like, oh, if I'm going to be a happy client under him, in fact, you'll be the one chasing me their card, Claire.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So
elevator pitch is about what you can do, what you can offer. Where we go wrong is about titles, about ranks. And then what next for me, what's in it for me. Guys, it's not about what's in it for me. It's normally how can you make a difference.
Yeah, I like that. Now let's talk a little bit about the foundation. You know, you said you stand for fairness and for compassion. I want you to tell us what really prompted you. You've spoken about it, but I want you to delve a little bit further. What prompted you to focus on widows and building homes for widows? Of course, it's a noble cause, but is there something in your life that triggered you to be really passionate about helping widows have dignity?
Good question, Claire. Yes, very much, Claire. First and foremost, Claire, I think when people see me like this, they imagine you just woke up one day and, you are in heels and you're in suits. Not at all, Claire. That's not the case. The case is totally different. So first and foremost, I was raised by a widow. My dad passed on when we were in high school. And for me, that is why I'm so passionate about widows. Let's begin with that. And then secondly is also my growing up wasn't very easy in terms of there was no silver platter. These are not things that if you tell somebody, if you tell my daughter or my son today, they'll relate with. I think I remember when my dad passed on, we were in Nairobi here and in Eastlands. So when my dad passed on, we were taken back home because again, my mom could not fend for the four of us. We are four siblings. My mom could not fend for us, and therefore we moved from Nairobi now back to upcountry. Upcountry, we didn't have a home. What we had was a shelter. So shelter here was basically grass thatched and the mud being the walls. So Claire, trust me, when the rains will be there, you'll really feel the rains. When it was cold, you really feel the cold. So for me, my desire or my quest is that no child should go through that, or no woman should go through that kind of pain or kind of humiliation or kind of status. I think where every human being deserves a fair place, deserves a decent place. Because also, let me tell you, what happens is you'll find that even the confidence of those kids can be impacted negatively because you feel like you're not good enough. And some kids might actually, because of DNA, we have those DNAs and all that come to play. For me, I think I was lucky in my siblings. We didn't really suffer from confidence and all that, but it impacts on some kids. I've seen that, especially after when you go to do a home, you find that in that home, you even find kids who are disabled in terms of maybe the hearing issues, they have eyesight issues, malnutrition. Eyesight, there is something to do with poverty that if it's not addressed, trust me, it can lead to all that. It's only that some people are lucky, they don't go through all that. But again, what I want to say is for me, the widows, the passion that I have for widows is what I saw my mom going through. There's a lot of stigmatization. People see you and they see poverty. People see you, the woman, the widow, and they see like you're here to just beg. And I remember my mom would go there's a school, and I still really, really hold that school dearly in my heart. That is Our Lady of Aurora in Homa Bay County. That school gave my mom some contract, and my mom was a fundi. Those days we used to call them fundi. The fashion designers, I think that is a nice name nowadays that they've acquired. But the fundi is now the tailor. So she would go to that school, make uniform of all the students, and that is how now she was able to continue paying our fees. She was able now to put food on the table. But what I want to say is it wasn't easy, because even with that small amount that she'll get from that school, it will still not give us that lifestyle that we would admire. And even the house, we ended up just being in that home until the time I started working, and then I went back and built for her, and the rest is history. What I can tell the world is that at times, let us not forget where we've come from. Let us go back and say, what difference can I make? What impact can I make? For me, that is a driving force. And that's why I will never turn my back on the widows. I know their pain. I've not been widowed, but I know their pain. Seeing my mom, what she went through, putting the food on the table, making sure that in as much as the rains are here, she will even look for polythene just to make sure that we are covered. Yeah, those things are there. And I think my videos are all over when I'm doing my homes, when I'm building for the mamas. Trust me, those homes are real, and you can see when they're shedding tears the moment you give them those houses. So my challenge to leaders who are there, let's not forget our roots. Let's do what you can to make a difference in this planet. The life that we lead is so transient, it's so short. We can make a difference with the short time that we still have, so that when we are no more, what legacy have we left behind? What lives and how many lives have we touched? How many people have we inspired? How many kids can actually look up to us and say, yes, she came to my home, she built this home for my mother, we now have a roof over our heads, she's taken me to school, I'm now also pursuing my doctorate or pursuing my degree or whichever field it is with your name or just because of you. Let's think deeper. Let's go beyond our ranks and titles.
And now that we're on the topic of family and children, you've had quite an illustrious career, and it can be demanding. By the time you're reaching director level and you're trying to build yourself and you have many other things going on, there's that aspect of balancing, or some people call it harmony. How did you go about, especially during those earlier years when you're raising children, how did you go about balancing or getting really a good mix of making sure that your family life is not suffering, as well as your own career life?
First and foremost, Claire, there's nothing like work-life balance. It's not achievable. It's not achievable. It's not doable. Not in this day and age. What is there is work-life integration. Work-life integration is whereby saying, you know what, I'm a mother, I'm a career woman at the apex and all that. I have all these things going on, my foundation work, my network, my leadership, my coaching. But I'm a coach as well. So with all these, Claire, how do I make sure that each and every world of mine, each and every space of mine is actually thriving? Because Claire, you can't be thriving at home and work is suffering. You can't be thriving at work and home is suffering. You're a mother. Kids must feel you at the same time. So how do you make sure that your work is well integrated? It is a question that all of us should be thinking about, not the balance. If you try to balance, Claire, you become so desperate, you become so worn out. Because it means then, if it's time for home, it's home. If it's time for work, it's work. You can't achieve that. At times you're needed. At times you're needed. Maybe there's a board paper that is not looking very impressive. I have to redo it. And it means then more time, more extra 2 hours here, 3 hours here and there. It means then home, I want to be so, but I can still carry that work and see how I can do it while I'm still attending to the home duties. Trust me, Claire, is about integrating the worlds, and it's doable. It has worked. It is working for me. But when I started in my early 20s, because I got my kids when I was very young, the first two, trust me, Claire, it was a bit chaotic because I didn't learn all this. So you want to be a perfect mom. You want to be a perfect. You can't work like that. You are always on sick leave. If not sick leave, your child is sick. This is happening. Yet, Claire, if you can have a very good support system, if you can have a very good personal advisory board, then you are able to flourish. So how you can achieve that, Claire, is just making sure that your support system is in place, whereby there's someone I can tell them, today I'm running late from work, please get my daughter, get my son, please drop them here, maybe at work I'll go with them, or drop them at home. Those kind of things, Claire. Do you have people like that in your life? Support system is very important for you to be a career woman who can really, really thrive and enjoy what you're doing. So support system is important. Personal advisory board. Again, who are the people that are around you? Show me your friends. I'll tell you who you are in the next 5 years. I can tell you, Claire, the people around you. Do you have a team whereby you have personal advisory board? These are the people who can speak your name even on your behalf well in the rooms that you are not there, Claire. These are the sponsors, the people who can mention your name in the organization. These are your mentors. Who are your mentors, Claire? Do you have one? Do you need to get? Those are the questions that we need to address inwardly, Claire. Even at our levels, Claire, everybody should have a coach, everybody should have a mentor, everyone should have a sponsor. There are some rooms that you'll never enter, Claire, but your name can be spoken. Who are you networking with? Who are you connecting with? Can they say good words about you? So by doing that, Claire, you'll find yourself, in as much as you're bogged down, you have kids, all this, you won't feel the weight because all these people are here to support you. They can tell you, Lillian, you're neglecting your home, please check on, because they mean well. Your personal advisory board is very important. And the earlier we get those people around us, the better. Let's not wait until you're in the middle of your career, at the apex of your career. Then you start looking for them. It will be too late, too little. You start nurturing these people. They walk along with you at the early stages. Because when they hold your hands at the earlier stages, in your younger days, what will happen is you tend to rise very, very fast. Because they show you the loopholes, the mistakes that you did. I'll talk to someone, I'll tell them, these are mistakes that I did in my 20s, don't do them. Now when I'm mentoring you, when I'm coaching you, those are the conversations that you'll have. But because I'm in your personal advisory board. But if you don't have in your board, then it's difficult for you to get to know. If you're waiting for sunrise, sunset, then definitely your life also automatically becomes sunrise, sunset.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I like that personal advisory board. And I remember someone was once saying that, are you the emergency contact of somebody who you cannot even call? So how do you go about putting together that personal advisory board? So maybe somebody's listening right now and they're like, yeah, I think I need that and I haven't yet put it together. So how do you take the audit? How do you start nurturing that?
You just said it, Claire. That audit aspect. You need to audit the circle of friends that you're keeping right now. You need to audit the circle of, maybe you have colleagues, you have people in your church, you have people you call friends, you have so forth and so many people around you. The time to just make sure that you need to make sure that there is, who are they? Can they come forth for you? And do they add value to begin with? Are they people you're proud of? Their career, how is it? Their life, their social aspect, their private life, their professional life. Are they people that you look up to? If not, Claire, time to do what? Time to disintegrate, but in a very respectful manner. And Claire, if you want to rise, not everybody will rise with you. That's also a very difficult truth, but we need to embrace that. As you go along, as you make that deliberate decision, that it's time for me to move up, Claire, you'll have to relinquish some friendships, some circles. It's the places that you keep frequenting, you might even have to stop frequenting because your vibration is changing, your frequency is changing, your trajectory is changing, and you can't change with the same old school, old thoughts, same old friends, same old thinking. You have to reinvent yourself. As you're reinventing yourself, it will be painful. It will be discomfortable. It will be a bit of discomfort. There'll be a bit of discomfort, but it has to be done.
Yeah, I like
so first and foremost is auditing. Who are you spending the most of the time with? If you're spending most of the time with people who are just whining, negativity, they'll never see anything that is good in life. This glass is always half empty. For heaven's sake, this glass is half full. It's not half empty. So if you have such people in your life, trust me, they'll drag you down. They will mislead you. At times, by the way, Claire, they don't mislead you because they want to mislead you, but they don't even know they're misleading you. And equally, because you're also blinded, you're also misled. You even end up throwing a very, very beautiful chance out of just being blinded and always listening to the negativity. While Claire, if you had good people around you, in your personal advisory board, the PAB around you, the good people around you, Claire, those who mean the best, those who can see that this glass, Claire, yes, it is half, but half full, not half empty, Claire, they would have brought the best out of you, but not to bring the worst out of you. Yeah. So even the people that you keep, who are you spending most of your time with? Ask that question. And then once you have that answer, you'll start seeing your life now changing, Claire.
Yeah, I like that. And let's talk a little bit about imposter syndrome, because as you said, sometimes change is painful, yeah? Mm-hmm. There are some people that you'll need to just leave if you want to go to the next level. But sometimes when you get to that next level, you yourself are sabotaging yourself. Yes. You yourself are not even seeing that you're worthy of being there. So speak about imposter syndrome, because there are different aspects and thoughts about it. There are people who say, there's no such thing. Mm-hmm. There are others who say that, yes, it can really be a crippling thing. So what are your thoughts on that, and women specifically?
Claire, imposter syndrome is something that must be addressed, and you have to address it yourself. Nobody will address it for you. When you think you're not good enough, Claire, you're not good enough. Simple as that. When you think you're good, you are the best, you are excellent, Claire, you are. Simple as that. So Imposter syndrome is something that people struggle with, even at the apex level, by the way. It's not something like you can say you're totally done with it. I used to suffer from it in my 20s, in my 30s, in my 40s. Not at all, Claire. It will still keep coming. It creeps up once in a while. And you ask yourself, oops, that is a big assignment. Will I do it? That is imposter syndrome. Just that particular question in your head. But the difference is clear. The fact that you're able to say, slow down, little voice, slow down. I am the best. We'll do it. Yes, that promotion, I deserve it. I'm going to go for it because my work is this good. I've put in the work. I've put in the hours. Clear imposter syndrome is, you can address it, but you have to address it from within. It will keep coming. I'll not sit here and tell you that people don't doubt yourself. Self-doubt will always come once in a while. You just feel like that platform is, if you don't have those questions once in a while in your head, the little voices, then you're not really ambitious. Then you are not getting to the big platforms that you ought to be in. So that big platform is important because it challenges you. It challenges you to an extent you want to ask yourself, wow, that was huge. And then you pat yourself on the back and say, I did it. You've addressed the imposter syndrome by just silencing that little voice that will always come in your head. For me to sit here and say that you'll never get it, you get it. Especially when you go from one platform to another platform.
Yeah.
And that platform, those spaces, if they're big enough, definitely they will make you a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I like that. If your dreams don't scare you, then you
They're
need to
not
change
big
your
dreams.
dreams.
They're not God-sized
They're
dreams.
just comfort
They are
zone.
comfort
Yeah,
zone.
I like that. So you really need to change that. Now I want us to switch gears and know a little bit more about you beside your work. Now, I'd like to know what is your current read? What are you currently reading?
My current read right now that I would recommend to all the leaders is one book, and this book is Sleep Revolution by Arianna Huffington. Arianna Huffington speaks. Arianna Huffington, actually, the RR is kind of confusing right now. So Arianna Huffington, what she talks about is basically just embracing a good night's sleep. Because when you're well rested, Claire, you tend to be at your best. When you are well rested, Claire, you tend to have your emotions in check. You tend to be at your best as a leader, and not just as a leader, as a human being. You tend to be at your best when you are well rested. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to rest well, embrace a good night's sleep. And even when you are not able to get a good night's sleep, try and get a nap during the day. Claire, what stops you from just going to your car? Close your eyes for 30 minutes, a power nap. Claire, you tend to be more effective. I love the read. I think it's a book that I don't want to put down right now.
Yeah. So how many hours of sleep do you get
myself?
Every night? Yeah.
Good question. Claire, there's a reason why I bought that book. I'm struggling to get to 8. Right now I'm still working with 6, but I'm really struggling to get to 8. The moment I get to 8, I'm home and dry.
Yeah, because I think that sleep revolution is very important because there's this thing, and I'm reading the ruthless elimination of hurry. We're in a revolution where the less sleep you get, the more productive you seem to be. So someone is proudly saying, I'm running on 4 hours, and it's supposed to be something to be proud about because that means you're productive. That means you're doing things. But yeah, we need the sleep. Yeah,
I don't think that can be achievable or that is normal because let me tell you, your body will just shut down. Your body will just tell you no. Even your emotions, you can tell when they're not in check. It means you're not well rested. Why are people just becoming too restless? People are making hasty decisions that are not even making sense from both sectors. It means people are not well rested. You go to sleep and you're always thinking about paper. You're always thinking, oh my God, I need to wake up. I need to do that. There's some deliverables, targets, numbers. We can't continue like that, guys. I think when we embrace a good night's sleep, when you embrace resting properly, then you are able to become more effective the following morning. You are able now to think with clarity because your mind is rested. When your mind is rested, Claire, you make good, solid decisions. You are never in a hurry to make decisions that can bring the bank down.
Yeah, yeah,
or the bank down. Or any company down for that. I work in a bank, so definitely the bank is the only one that can come to mind.
Now, let's talk about music. What kind of music do you listen to?
Wow, do you see that coming? The music I listen to? Claire, I have two type of music in mind and very quite apart. One is rumba and the other one is South African beats. That is amapiano. I know they are two different worlds, but how I coordinate the two, please don't ask me today, for another day.
Eclectic selection there. Now, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Yeah. Oh, amazing. So Claire, I'm very interesting when it comes to that question. Very, very interesting question as well. One, what I do for fun. When I build for widows, when I pack my tools and drive down to my home county and spend time with the widows and I'm on the roofs, I think you've seen my videos up on the roofs and my sneakers and my tracksuits, building, nailing, roofing. Trust me, Claire, that is my fun. That is a moment that I look and I'm saying, you know what, God, how about you extending this Saturday to be 2 Saturdays or 2 Sundays to be this Sunday to be 2 Sundays so that I can do another home and another home. Are we together, Claire? Yeah. That is my fun. I don't know how to say it. I know it's not fun to some people. They're like, oh my God, that is work. That is not. To me, that's how I recharge. That is my spa. Now that's my travel. That is now like I'm in the middle of who I am, my essence. When I see that widow just, smiling and she's happy and we are hugging and we can't let each other go and I have to leave because I have to drive back to Nairobi. Claire, that is a fun moment for me. I don't know if there's another fun. Maybe golf, but no, golf will be another second fun. My fun, Claire, my fun, being with my widows, building for them, being up on the roof there.
I think it speaks to those values of the fairness and compassion, really having a heart for people. Now, as we conclude, I'd like you to speak to women. I'd like you to look at the camera and speak to that woman wherever she is in her career or in her life. What is that one piece of advice that you would give her on how to really make sure that she is confident in herself and really rise up and embrace who she is and really know who she is to get to where she wants to go?
Oh, good question. To all the ladies listening to me, viewing me this morning or this afternoon, trust me, ladies, you can be anything that you want to be. It just starts with you. You have all that it takes from within you. The world does not define you. It starts by being intentional, by knowing what you want, what you deserve, and then showing up for it and going for it. You can do it. I've done it. Thank you.